Welcome to Tamez Labs. I'm Tripwire, joined as always by Jack Locke, and today we're dissecting something fresh out of Anthropic, a new iOS simulator pane that just landed in the Claude Code Mac app. It lets the coding agent watch the app it built actually run on a simulated iPhone, tap through it, and check its own work. That sounds like a big deal. We're going to find out how big and where it still falls short. Okay, so the thing that dropped this week, Claude Code Desktop, the Mac app version of Anthropic's coding agent, just got a new iOS simulator pane. Public beta went live around July 21st.
And coding agent meaning it writes code, runs it, reads the result, iterates. That part's not new.
Right, that part's old. What's new is it can now watch the app it built actually run. There's a pane dock next to your coding conversation, and Claude builds the app, installs it, launches it inside Apple's iOS simulator, and taps through it.
So instead of guessing whether the Swift compiled into something that renders, it can see the screen.
Exactly. And AI insiders framed it in one line that's basically the whole story. A model that writes correct Swift is a code generator. A model that can then launch the result, watch it render, and decide whether the screen matches the request is closer to an agent that verifies its own output.
That's a nice line. But let's slow down on watch it render. Why did mobile need this in the first place? Web agents have been iterating for a while.
Because simulators are graphical. AI insiders again. Mobile has lagged because simulators are inherently graphical, with no log output that tells an agent a layout is broken. On the web or in a terminal, you get text back. On a phone, a broken layout just looks broken. Nothing tells the agent.
So streaming the screen into its context is the fix. Fine. What's the test we're actually running here?
Anthropic's own example task. Build the app and run it in the simulator to check the onboarding flow. So, hand Claude an iOS project, ask it to build, run, and verify a UI flow end to end. Does closing that loop produce shippable UI or just faster-looking slop?
And to be clear about the setup, this isn't for everyone. You need the Mac app, version 124012 or later, a Mac, and Xcode with the simulator runtime installed.
Pro, Max, and Team plans. Not Enterprise, oddly.
And it's Mac only by design, right? That's not a choice, that's a wall.
It's a wall. Apple's iOS simulator only runs on macOS, so there's no cross-platform version possible, ever. And it's local sessions only. A cloud or SSH session can't reach a simulator on your machine.
Okay, so who wins with this? Where does it actually shine?
The verification loop. That's the real win. Before, you had a blind code generator. Now, you've got an agent that can launch its own work and check whether the screen loaded and the flow advanced. It catches its own functional rendering failures before they hit your review queue.
And streaming the screen makes that cheap enough to run on every change, not just at the end.
On every change. And here's the quality of life part people underrate. The desktop pane drives the simulator directly. Anthropic's line via 9to5 Mac. It doesn't need computer use and never takes over your screen or hides your other windows.
Hold on though, because that's only the desktop pane. There are two delivery paths and they behave completely differently.
They do. Say it.
The CLI version reaches the simulator through computer use, which means it controls the visible simulator like a human with a mouse. It hijacks your monitor. So that whole runs alongside your other work benefit, on CLI, it evaporates. Gone.
Fair. If you're on CLI, you lose the non-intrusive behavior entirely. That's a real distinction, and people should hold both.
What else is in the win column on the pane side?
The human stays on the wheel. You can tap, swipe, hit home and lock, rotate the device, all from the pane. And there's a visible badge that tells you when Claude's driving versus when you are.
That badge matters more than it sounds. You want to know who's got the controls.
And parallelism, up to 4 simulated devices per session, each bound to the session that started it. So if you've got parallel Claude sessions working different features, they don't collide on one virtual phone.
Okay, that's genuinely nice. Now the part I care about. It closes the does it run gap. Does it close the "is it good" gap?
I knew you were going there.
Because reads the screen to verify its own changes is not design judgment. Claude can confirm a screen rendered and a flow advanced. It cannot reliably tell you the onboarding is well designed. Spacing, hierarchy, tap target sizing, empty states, error states, that's a shipping bar, and the sources give zero evidence it clears it.
I have to concede that. Verification against "does it match the request" is only as good as the request. Vague prompt in, plausible but shallow UI out.
And there's a worse trap here. A screen that renders is the lowest possible bar. Agent-authored UI can render perfectly and still be slop. Generic layout, no accessibility labels, hard-coded strings, broken on a non-default device size.
And the pane makes it easier to believe the work is done.
That's the new slop risk exactly. The tool's confidence can outrun its correctness. You watch it tap through, it verifies, and you relax.
And it's self-graded. The agent decides whether the screen matches the request. That's a closed loop, no independent reviewer.
Which is why AI Insider's own guidance is the tell. Teams should treat the simulator pane as the new baseline for review before merging agent-authored UI changes. Baseline for review, not the review. A human still merges.
And I want to be honest about how new this is. The web material flatly says real-world reviews are limited because the feature's days old. So what we've got is tech press explanation, 9 to 5 Mac, AI Insiders, not working iOS dev field reports.
So nobody should be quoting a pro consensus that doesn't exist yet. AI Insiders is a solid industry brief, but it's early analysis, not shipped in production testimony.
Agreed. Treat it as informed. Provisional.
One more thing before verdict, because it's on the record, the privacy caveat.
Yeah. Screenshots Claude takes of the simulator get sent to Anthropic servers and retained under your account's normal conversation settings. Their own advice? Use test accounts, not production logins.
AI Insiders puts it plainly. That's a reason to keep test accounts, not production logins, on any device an agent touches. And there's a security wrinkle too. 2 actions bypass the one-time device consent, opening a URL on the device, and building through Xcode's build scripts.
Because both can move data or run arbitrary scripts on your Mac. So they run under the session's ordinary permission mode.
So know what you've handed it.
All right, verdict. Use it if you're an iOS dev or a studio already on Claude Code, on a Mac with Xcode, and you want the agent to catch its own functional rendering failures before they reach you. On the narrow test, build and verify a UI flow end-to-end. It's a genuine step up. Blind Generator becomes an agent that can see whether the screen loaded and the flow advanced, without hijacking your screen, on the desktop pane, without colliding across parallel sessions.
And watch out for the obvious trap. Do not read "Claude verified it" as "it's shippable." The sources give no evidence the pane catches design quality or edge case defects, only that the app runs. Keep a human on the merge. Keep production accounts off any simulator Claude can drive. And remember, on CLI, you lose the non-intrusive behavior completely.
So, the honest framing. It's a real workflow win and an unproven craft win.
The loop it closes, does it run, is legit. The loop it implies it closes, is it good, is still yours.
The tool speeds the loop. It doesn't replace the taste. Thanks for listening to Tamez Labs. I'm Tripwire, Jack Lock's here too. We'll be back soon with another tool under the microscope. See you then.
Grab news. Tamez.